What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? So all the Twitter trolls and everybody, they're probably biting their tongue right now. Oh man, this has got to be the craziest price action ever. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see my screen. Hit the thumbs up, guys, if you enjoy my content, because boy, has it been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride. Let's see here. How's everyone doing? What's up, MD June ID, Atomic Earner, Crypto Cash, G4L, what's going down? Oh my God. This is the most insane movement ever, I swear. Let me see here. What we got going on. So, guys, here's the thing, okay? Everybody and their mother was, looking at this and thinking like, all right, well, okay, we broke past 10,000, 100. We're just going to clear this. I told you guys in this morning's video and even yesterday, okay, until we break through this area up here, this is the big resistance. You haven't done squat. This is all volume, high volume into resistance. This is retail buying into professionals. That's it. There's nothing more to it. Okay? So I will happily admit that over here, I told y'all that I got stopped out, right? Where's my position right here? Here's my loss. I took a loss, took it to the chin, all right? And I said I got stopped out. But in this morning's video and even yesterday, my thesis hasn't changed, right? We actually needed to see continuation through this. So this is the difference between people who get overly excited because they see a couple $100 movement, but they don't understand what the intention behind that movement is. What is the real breakout that should actually get us through 10,500? Okay. So this is, the sad part about a lot of people is that they typically get trapped up here. I told my members that this may not be the best spot to buy. Maybe if we get a retest right here and then push off, possible. That could be a possible buy. If you want to scalp in this movement right here, right? Like this morning, I was telling people that, okay, it's possible that if we're going to keep pushing up, you can buy up here, stop below here, target 10,275 or something. That didn't work out. You got stopped out right here. You lost about $150 of movement, but you missed out on this. Okay? So this is the big difference between understanding how to look at markets from the broader perspective and then, some random dude on Twitter calling me out and saying that, how does it feel to get stopped out up here? I mean, it sucks, but I'm not the one who bought up here and thought we're just going to push up through randomly and now they're deep underwater. See, that's the real difference between good traders and bad. Knowing that you could be wrong, knowing exactly where markets could potentially be trapping you, that's the difference. Okay, so how are the traditional markets looking? The question is from Marco. What's going on, Marco? Marco is one of our members of the Advantage side. Traditional markets are looking all right. I mean, still consolidating right here in this large rising wedge. They're probably going to push up, guys. They're probably going to keep pushing up a little bit more, in my opinion. But here's the thing. I mentioned this morning in my video. Okay, let me see here. What was it? I had a couple of data points right here. So Macy's, one of the stores, right, from Macy's was actually looted and I think broken into, and yet the stock still went up. Okay, big players in retail are still having more puts than calls. Hedge fund exposure to equities remains near historic lows. So you can see all these different signs from larger professionals are telling you that there is something just not completely right. It just seems off. And yet, retail continues to be bullish up here. See, the difference is that, the bigger players in the market, they are capable of holding on to a position even in a losing position, but they want to see their thesis play out. So they can withstand losses for a longer period of time. But more often than not, retail cannot. Retail is typically, selling at the bottom, buying at the top, because they're too emotional. They're too riddled with fear, too riddled with panic, too riddled with FOMO. And so if you want to be a good trader, you have to outline a larger plan, right? Even up here, my larger plan did not change, okay? I even said this in the face of getting stopped out. I said, well, it doesn't change anything. I mean, yes, I got stopped out, but I'd still be looking for shorts. I wish I got another short opportunity somewhere higher, but I didn't, and that's fine. Okay, market dumped. So now what, right? What do we do from here? Well, here's the thing. If this candle or even tomorrow, the day after, we don't climb back up past, 10,300, 10,400, what we could effectively be doing is we could be just retracing back up only to start rolling back over again. Or even from over here, if we start closing below the monthly open, we could do something like this and start breaking down. If you're simply looking at this from the standpoint of pivots, right here, you can wait for the 4-hour pivot for price to close below that. That's around 10,275 or so. Okay. So for the most part, we can make the argument, as Mohan said, this could be very well a great trap that was laid out. A lot of shorts got burned up here. A lot of longs got trapped up here. And boom, big dump. That's what markets do, guys. That's what markets do, right? So, again, we're still right near this June monthly open. You can wait simply to see if today's daily, tomorrow's daily is going to close below this and start shorting. My plan has not changed. This whole thing that I was drawing, I was looking like a crazy person yesterday, obviously, when I still had this plan, but this has not changed. Guess what? This right here is still a lower high from this key all-time high. And this is another lower high. This is another lower high, and this is another lower high. Because what have we accomplished by simply pumping up to 10,473? Remember, the high over here was 10,584. High over here, 10,550. High over here, 10,473. So lower highs all the way across the board, right? So now the question TA Made Easy asked, so who makes money? Sure as hell, not the retail buyers. Well, it's possible for retail to make money, but we have to be patient. We have to, again, and I classify myself as retail, by the way, because I don't have multi-million dollars or, $50 or $100 million hedge fund to move markets or, to be able to play in the derivative space as heavy as these other players. So I'm retail just like you guys. I'm trying to make it on a day-to-day basis. But imagine if I showed you guys my loss, right? I showed you guys that I got stopped out of the market. This was my loss right here, okay? But if I had been dumb enough to buy up here and I said, well, my stop has to be down here, that would be, almost $1,000 plus drop down here, and maybe with slippage even deeper. So I would have lost significantly more money. So a $2,000-$3,000 loss could have been a $7,000 to $8,000 loss if I had been dumb enough to buy up here. Okay, I'm not saying people are dumb enough to be buying up here. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if I had done that, I would have been the dummy who would have done that. But I didn't, because it didn't make any technical sense to me. What I would have done rather is bought the breakout above this key daily resistance way the heck up here. I would have been happy to pay a higher price way up here if we got a breakout. But we didn't. We got this, right? So my overall thesis is still active, guys. The whole thing that I told you guys about, way the heck down here where we could maybe make it back towards $2,300, $2,400, maybe even lower down here, still a pretty active thesis in my opinion. Nothing has changed. Only thing that's changed is Twitter trolls rethinking that, holy crap, maybe this random dude on YouTube named Alpha Trades was possibly right. That's the only thing that's changed. But remember, what you want to do now is watch this candle. You might actually get an opportunity, something like this. This is a big bearish engulfing. We may climb back up a day or two or three, put in a lower high, and then start rolling over. And I'll show you guys where that happened previously. Watch this, okay? So pay attention to this candle right here, and then look at this one right here on February 19th. Kind of looks the same to me, right? Except this one obviously was put in as a lower high. This one was a fake, squeeze to the upside. But again, we pushed to the upside, but then got strongly rejected and then climbed back up for a couple days and then drop lower, pushed up, drop lower. These are the things that you're going to want to watch over the next several days. I'm giving you guys all this free alpha, so hit that thumbs up if you enjoy my content, all right? And again, you can join our free community, folks. Buy the 50% discount off right now to trade with us, okay? So now you know the sauce that is in our community, which is that we have a certain game plan. We look at the markets a certain way. And even when retail FOMO was up here, we didn't FOMO. Yeah, we got stopped out of our position, whatever, that's fine. Getting stopped out is part of the markets. It is unfortunate, but it happens. You have to keep your confidence high. You have to keep your technical thesis high. You have to keep your analysis strong to know that, all right, well, have things really changed? Or does this still smell like a trap, look like a trap? Because if it smells like a trap, looks like a trap, hasn't broken through any key resistance levels, it's probably a trap, okay? So going back on the daily, all right, again, we have this pivot right here where price literally wicked out into. And whether you look at this on BitMEX, because BitMEX dropped all the way to about $8,600, folks, but Coinbase right here only dropped to a low of $92.70. But guess what? When it comes to Coinbase, this is a pretty strong bearish engulfing candle right here so far. And we still have about 8.5 hours to go. Anything could happen in the next 8.5 hours. Anything, okay? So be careful of what happens, when this candle closes like this. The next candle could also be fairly bearish, or it could grind back up like I showed you guys earlier, like it did back here in the middle of February, and then start to break down. If that happens, then you will again get a, I personally think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to short. Other people may disagree, but personally, I think, if we get that kind of movement, this whole notion that I talked about this morning, random people talking about you'll never see Bitcoin over 10,000 or under 10,000 again, it was gone in the snap of a finger, right? These are the people who only come out of the woods when Bitcoin does significant moves. So these are the real retail. They only get caught up in the price when it's all noise, right? The price makes these movements, guys, and it attracts your attention because people who are professionals know exactly how to lure in retail. It's not spontaneous. It's not a coincidence. It is tactical and it's planned. Your money going into their pockets is a very properly curated and devised plan, right? And I mean retail money going into professional pockets, okay? So just be careful next time around you start looking at the markets, FOMOing in right at resistance. Always follow the technical. Don't ever worry about missing the breakouts, and missing the breakouts as in this is really not a breakout. technical breakout would have been up here above 10,500, which I've been talking about. But I'm fairly certain that people FOMO'd in way at the top. I can guarantee you there's probably hundreds and thousands of people who are down hundreds and thousands of dollars. All right. Crypto News says they always try to get you out before the big moves are happening. Yeah, 100%, man. They do not want retail fish to be in part of the big moves. They want to collect as much of the asset, as much of the position as possible to be able to make these moves easier. All right. So they get to collect a lot of the profit. Retrade Klein says, my balls of steel kept me in my short. I'll admit I was very nervous. Dude, that is amazing. Congrats to you. You are one of the very few people who had the guts to keep that short in. And to be honest, I really wanted to keep my short stop way up here at 10,600 or so above this resistance. I was like, you know what? If I get stopped out right here, whatever. You know, I'll re-short somewhere around 10.2, 10.3 or something, you know. But I didn't get that opportunity, right? We got a quick push up here, a bit of a consolidation on the 15-minute, as you can see, just sideways, and then roll over. So, you know, crazier things happen, right? This is what happens sometimes in markets. And, you know, unfortunately, the trade left without me. But guess what? I entered in at about 9,300 or so average. I can literally short right now, tomorrow, the day after, if prices climb back towards $9,500, $9,600, and short again. I just have an even better entry. Same with you guys. You may just have an even better entry in terms of a short position. Okay. Andy says, I was 100x short at 10,269. Damn stop losses. Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now I've never touched 100x. I think people often ask me, like, what is the max leverage that you use? I don't think I've ever really gone beyond 10x. I use 25x, but like that's just, you know, just like as an experiment on some random, you know, shit perp or altcoin or whatever on FTX or Binance or something, or even, you know, Bybit, right? Bybit is the exchange that I predominantly use, but I don't really use 100x in Bitcoin. It's just not worth it. If you have enough money on an exchange and you know what you're doing, you don't really need that much leverage, right? So no, I don't really ever use that much leverage. Retrade Klein asks, let's not forget 7,300 was never tested as support. Yeah, I totally agree. So here's the thing, guys, right? If we start breaking below this June monthly open, chances are we're probably going to head down here again towards this range low, which is around $8,400. Okay. And I don't mean by BitMEX standards. I mean like by real, you know, Coinbase standards, we're probably going to head towards these lows around 8,400. Because only BitMEX is the only exchange that went down to about 8,600. Coinbase, Bitstamp, other exchanges did not. Okay. So things like maybe a majority of the volume and maybe liquidations came on BitMEX. Because here's the thing, right? There's too many degenerate gamblers on BitMEX going 50x or 100x or whatever, risking pretty much their entire position on one trade. And so this is why you see big wicks like this. It's a gambler's paradise. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things wrong with that, but still, right? This is bound to happen. Okay. So, you know, my long-term thesis still stands in my opinion. Okay. I don't know if anything's changed, to be honest, right? You got to be careful now with this kind of positioning. What you might, like I said, what you might get is roll back over into this resistance again and then start rolling back down. That could be another very good opportunity for a short position. When it comes to the indicators, here's the 4-hour right here, heading into overbought and then boom, dumping. I even told my Advantage members this morning that if you go over here, you know, on Bitcoin analysis, right? Price was at 10,150. I told you guys that if you look at the OBV right here, it's still not showing positive inflows, right? So let's look at it on a daily perspective. So, oops, let's do this, let's do this. So here's the high that we put in May 7th, right? the 10,085 high. Yet we made another higher high right here in terms of the price that we saw yesterday, 10,473. Yet the RSI indicator right here was still showing you bearish divergence because higher high in price, lower high in RSI. OBV, same thing. Lower high in terms of inflows. So you're getting multiple signals that were already telling you that this doesn't make any sense. Why the heck price is up here? Okay. And it doesn't mean that, price being up here doesn't mean like, price cannot defy the craziness of what markets do, which is they're going to be irrational. They could have just kept going up. But there were other signs that were telling you that, all right, well, it still doesn't make any sense. The technical reasoning was just not there. And this is why, for the most part, I was short, even when I got stopped out. And even after I got stopped out, I kept saying that it doesn't make any sense for me to get into longs up here. So, having your thesis in the face of being stopped out, looking like an idiot, publicly sucks. I'll tell you guys one thing. Before I even, was a part of the Alpha Trades community, I did not have to be public in my positions, right? I was trading, being, as private as I could be, doing my own thing. But the one thing that I've learned by being part of Alpha Trades and running Alpha Trades, our community, is that sometimes you do look like an idiot in front of everyone. It sucks, but it makes you become a stronger person, right? It helps you show that, all right, I am taking the positions that I'm talking about. I am taking the losses as I get stopped out. So everything that I'm doing is visible, and I'm showing you guys exactly how I'm trading. And sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm also right. All I care about is on a day-to-day basis, how do I rebound from the days that I'm wrong? And do I go into the markets with more confidence and say, all right, I got this. Today's the day to make money. That's all you got to do. It's all you got to do on a daily basis. Okay? Come back stronger the next day and the next day and keep fighting. Okay? Don't give up on the markets because the markets are always going to be irrational, guys. There's never going to be a perfect day where the market says, hey, this is a buy signal. And once you buy in, you'll just keep making money. It's never going to be like that. It's a constant struggle. It's a constant battle to keep making money, to keep getting stopped on the markets, and then waking up the next day and saying, all right, new day in the markets, right? New trade, new beginning. Every day is a new beginning. And that's not just in markets, that's in every facet of life. Every aspect of life, you have to wake up, take the punches from yesterday, forget about them, wake up the next day and say, all right, today's a new day, I'm ready to fight. Okay? The same thing goes to the markets, guys. If you guys bought the top, okay, you missed everything that I've been saying for the last several weeks. If you want to be a part of our community, you can join 50% off today and get that kind of information every single day. If I can't provide good information in terms of trade setups and let you guys know exactly, what the best trade is where I'm considering, getting in or out, I'll at least let you guys know what I personally think is a mistake. Okay? I will at least stop you from making bad decisions. I can't give you financial advice, but I'll be happy to let you know that when I think something is dumb, I'll let you know. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to be as honest as I can with you guys to let you know what I personally think, makes sense in terms of technicals, in terms of fundamentals. After doing this for 11 years, I've also gathered a lot of connections. I've had multiple mentors who have 20, 30 years experience in the markets, one of whom we actually bring on frequently into our community, right? This is Austin Ashraf. He's a former Citi portfolio manager. He currently manages CFF Capital. Sometimes I talk out my trades with him. Sometimes I let him know, hey, I'm doing this in the crypto market, or I'm doing this in the FX markets or equities. All right? He'll let me know honestly too, with his 35 years of experience and my 11 years of experience. Chances are we're going to make some good moves in the market, right? So make sure you learn from people who know more than you. make sure you get analysis which is more diverse in terms of its opinion, in terms of its direction, different from yours. This is how you become a better trader. Okay. Are there any questions? Let me see here. What else is going on? I don't know if there's anything else going on Twitter. I don't think I retweeted anything else. I'm still looking at this FX market right here. I'm in this long euro dollar trade. So I got in this average right here. I think I'm just at a slight loss. But I think the market overall, everywhere pretty much, whether it's the dollar, the equities, Bitcoin, they all saw a massive dump over the last several hours. And I was just talking about this with someone else. Everybody saw a drop. And I don't know what that was about, but man, things are crazy, you know? So I don't know if there's like maybe some distribution going on across the board, or if we think, you know, this could be potentially the top in equities and we should start rolling over, or if this is just a, you know, a spike down before maybe another push back up. I don't quite know. Do you trade ship perps regularly? If so, would love a regular TA segment on it. No, you know, I got to be honest. I don't really trade alts that regularly anymore. I was trading this ship perp a little while back. Let me see here. Let's check out ship perps right here. So here, you know, even again, ship perps right here, right? Took a big dump. Okay. You know, I personally think that just like Bitcoin, right, with ship perps, we're closing back inside this key area that was resistance, and we start breaking back down below this, right? We're probably going to do something like this, start breaking back down. This is your short right here, your short opportunity. Stop is up here, just above these wick highs, okay? Because here's the thing, right? Bitcoin pretty much dominates the market in terms of its size, in terms of its volume. So if Bitcoin is dumping, and I mean like we get a confirmation over the next 3, 4, or 5 days that, all right, we're putting in another lower high, we're going to start rolling over, then that means ship perps are going to dump too, probably more aggressively. Okay. So I would probably want to short ship perps versus long them. All right. Unless you believe, you know, this dump was maybe just a squeeze, long squeeze to the downside, and then we're going to keep pushing up, which is also possible, but I don't know. I still think that it was a pretty negative sign for us to close back inside this triangle. I mean, I guess we still have another, you know, whole half a day or so left, but we could close up here all the way around 98, 9900. But man, that would require a lot more buying. Like we need to see buyers really step up. Okay. But if we do something like this, start rolling back up, and then say by the end of the week, we start rolling back over, you know, that's your potential stop, your short position right there. And your stop could be up here or somewhere up here. That's how I'm going to look at it, right? I told you guys that, you know, I do not want to long this market, at least not yet. Maybe above 10,500. But if I'm longing anything, it's maybe some random altcoins that look like they haven't broken out. And if I get stopped out, whatever, you know, I'll lose a couple $100 or whatever. But some of these altcoins, you know, sometimes they do all right when BTC looks like it's either breaking down or consolidating. What do you think now? MD June ID asks, what do you think now? Still more dump or shoot back up? Well, like I just said, I think if you wait for the closing below this area, June monthly open, I think that's a potential short, or it can grind back up here again and then start breaking down. Do I think from here we're just going to keep pushing back up? Chances are there, but they're very slim. I think they're very slim. It's possible that we had this, you know, big spike down as a potential area of grabbing more liquidity and then pushing back up. But again, those chances are very low. Okay. retrade decline as BTC and ETH just bounced off the 618 fib. I think market makers will let retailers long and squeeze down again. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's possible too. Ethereum, I was just looking at it earlier. You know, Ethereum looked good, right? Till like literally this morning. And then it took a big dump. You see, when it comes to these kinds of dumps, guys, they're pretty much unpredictable. Okay, unless you like happily or happen to get lucky by shorting the top, you know, it's hard to predict something like this, right? If you're waiting higher to short, that was okay, because you know technically, I mean, yeah, we broke up a little bit. I would have expected ETH to push up a little bit more and then start to roll over. It's very hard to predict, you know, exactly when this kind of dump is going to happen. Now remember, this dump happened, right? This is a 1 minute candle. We went from a high of 10,110, and the next minute we dumped down to a low of $8,600. So in 2 minutes, we dropped close to about how much? From here down here, almost $1,500. This is on the BitMEX exchange. That's a 14.94% drop. Okay, it's very hard to catch moves like that, and that's okay. You're not going to be able to, guys, unless you just happen to get lucky. Okay. Let me see here. What else do we need to talk about? Oh, let's check out silver. So I told you guys that, you know, I told the Advantage community that I got into silver. You can even see silver took a big dump. Equities across the board, Bitcoin, currencies, everything took a crap today. I don't know if it was just sellers selling, or this is just a way of getting people out of the market and then we push back up, or this is literally the top. Hard to say right now. It's very hard to say. You know, something like silver, though, I'll be honest. I personally think that silver, even if the equities markets go down, I think silver might push up. Because metals recently, I still think that metals have a much more higher upside. Okay, even if the equity markets keep dumping. But again, it's not investment advice. I'm just showing you guys exactly what I'm doing in the market. Okay. Let me see here. How else can we look at this? On a 4-hour perspective, not a whole lot to gather because this is still, you know, the ending of this current 4-hour candle. Let's see here. 1-hour candle. Yeah, I mean, big wick to the downside on here, but I don't know how much you want to take into account BitMEX right now. Because Coinbase and other exchanges, like even if we took a look at, let's just say Bitstamp, okay? Bitstamp went to a low of about 91.35 or so. So BitMEX went $500 lower. Since that March crash that we had, guys, BitMEX has not been able to recover its order book depth, nor has it been able to recover its same liquidity. It's very, you know, unfortunate that people still trade on BitMEX because you're going to keep getting stopped out when when the market does crazy moves like this. Okay. I don't know, man. I really dislike BitMEX, but that's just my, you know, my 2 cents. You guys are feel free to trade on it, but if I were you, I'd be careful. Okay. Let me see here. So remember, I told you guys also about these long cascades. Right? Look, that's exactly what happened. I lined up these X's when we were over here and said if we push below this, we can possibly hit all these X's. And that's exactly what happened. These are all longs cascading into each other. So when this stop gets hit, that rolls into this one. This one rolls into this one. This one rolls into this one, and so on and so forth on the way down. This is why you see these big wicks to the downside. It's because long positions are getting stopped and they're getting liquidated one into the other, and you get stopped way the heck down here. Okay? Let me see here. So ship perps, like I said, if you trade on FTX, you know, I personally think that if we start rolling back over in terms of Bitcoin starting to roll down, It's very possible that shit perps could be a very unique shorting opportunity as well. And like I said before, I still believe that if we don't get past 10,500, right? So think about it like this, okay? So in September, or October rather, right here, we went up to 10,500, went back to a low of $6,400, pushed up to 10,550, put in a lower high, went all the way down to $3,600 and went up to 10,473. And again, we're starting to roll back over. So even after taking liquidity way the heck down here around 3,600, we couldn't break past 10,500. What does that tell you? That tells you that we don't have enough strength from the bulls or from demand to actually blast up through this. That means we have to maybe go lower. And that lower could mean that we may go to $2,400, maybe even lower than that. And then we might be able to start pushing up higher. Rafi Yukon asks, can you explain what shit perps are? So shit perps are just a basket of currencies that FTX created as just kind of like an ETF, right? So if you look at, let's just say XLI, okay? This is your industrials ETF. This might have companies like General Motors, US Steel, it's just a basket of companies in industrials, or XLH, XLV, okay, which is, why do I keep saying S? XLV, healthcare ETF. This might have your Pfizer, your Abbott Labs, your Eli Lilly, all these different companies in the healthcare ETF. The same thing is with shit perps. It could be a basket of coins like Ethereum and Litecoin and Bcash and Link, and they're all weighed in together to create this large ETF basically. And so if you're longing the ETF, you're saying that, all right, well, when it comes to altcoins overall, you believe that most altcoins, whether it's Link or Ethereum or Bcash or Litecoin or whatever, you think that majority of them are going to go up. If you're shorting them, you're thinking that a majority of them are going to go down. Okay, but that's what the shit perp futures is. Retrade client asks, I don't have access to the COT, but how are the big players positioned? All right, yeah, let's take a look at that. So here's the COT data. Every Friday, this updates. Last Friday, this was the update, which was open interest actually went down, non-reportables went down, and non-commercials went up, meaning open interest, as in how many contracts are there, whether it's longs or shorts. Non-reportables, these are your retail, some of them are professionals. These actually reduce their long exposure, and non-commercials reduce their short exposure. So just because non-commercials actually go up doesn't mean that they're actually buying longs. They're just saying that we actually cut down our short position. That's all they're saying. Okay. Let me see here. Gold is still looking decent. I still have, I think, a bit of a GLD position. GLD, again, is the ETF for gold. All right, so gold is looking all right. Again, it's still consolidating up here. I don't know what the heck it wants to do, but I think from here, it still looks like it may want to push up a little higher. If you're looking at this right here, all right, excuse me. From a weekly perspective, I've talked about, gold potentially hitting about 1775 or closer to about 1875. I still think that's possible. Again, not investment advice, make sure you do your own research, but that's how I'm trading gold. And I have silver as well. And I'm still thinking that silver is probably going to get me, at least 5 to 10%. Okay. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have my stops set. I know exactly how to look at the market, but on a day-to-day basis, you guys see me every single day, right? Going on these live sessions, explaining to you guys how I'm looking at the market, how I'm positioned long or short, what I'm buying, what I'm selling. So if you guys are interested, join the 50% off. There's a free Discord link below. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoy our content. But yeah, until then, I'll catch y'all later. All right, I'm going to go hang out with the Advantage members. And that's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content. Hopefully you guys didn't FOMO in right at the top and you've been watching our analysis. All right, cheers. Have a good rest of your Tuesday afternoon.